Boy, it's really nice to start off a morning coming out to the menagerie. Like going to the zoo and seeing all the animals. The RD animals. We got some work to do on the RD today. I don't know how the day is going to play out with Karen because we have a bunch of honeydew stuff. We may have some time this afternoon to paint the mirrors. I'm not sure that's going to happen. This is what's fun about having a garage full of projects to work on. And anybody that thinks they ever end, you're wrong. And how do we have to start off every day? One of these high intensity days with high intensity coffee. Yesterday I got the shocks on, but we didn't have time to do the carb springs. May get to do that today. Again, the whole thing early in the morning like this is to plan up a day to use the time efficiently. And each time I get a motorcycle ready for the season, like I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to get each bike as it comes into its time in the rotation, get it ready, make sure it's ready for a full summer of good riding and just having a lot of fun with our friends. Now, I always find it easier to do all my errands early in the day, do everything I have to do, and get my work done once everything's done. I don't like working on a motorcycle knowing right in the middle of it, even though I have to do it. In the middle of it, I have to go to BJ's or shopping or I don't know what else. Every day is different, and every day is, that's the way I like it. We did a little preliminary photo shoot, but I'm hoping that Jot's going to be able to break away from his busy schedule sooner or later. Get some really high quality pictures. But I hope you enjoyed that little photo show we put on for about 2 or 3 days ago. Now, Rob's coming back from his business trip, I think later this week, and he hasn't seen this all put together yet, but I think we're going to go out on a joint ride as soon as he's able to break away from his busy schedule too. And the way this is playing out, I didn't even get a chance to do the lawn furniture yet. Karen's going to be on my case about this pretty soon. But this is how my day plays out. Let me show you something. This is funny. I know you can't make this up. Are we ready to go, honey? We're ready to go? Where are we going? Motorcycle Mall? Buy me small motorcycles? Absolutely. First stop, Motorcycle Mall. Now, it's funny. I only have Glenn's project on the table. The table's pretty much empty. It's unusual this early in the year to get the table empty. I do have some mirrors that I need to paint, but I'll paint them all together. I got a new printer to install. The old 25-year-old brother's going down the drain. John Pothier is going to help me with that some point in the near future. And Glenn, this is a funny story I want to share about Glenn. Glenn, of course, is our adopted son, and trying to be handsome like his father in the middle here. But anyway, this is the whole story. Glenn was supposed to come over today, and he couldn't get the nut on his Ducati wheel off without a big pry bar. And so I offered to let him use my big pry bar. Well, the only problem is he lives 45 minutes away. So here's the story I wanted to share. You've got, usually it's a rear axle nut or some nut that won't come off. This is the wrench you need, and it's a Harbor Freight, of course. But sometimes even this won't get it off. I was looking around. Yeah, I don't even know where it is. People borrow this stuff. Somewhere in here, I think it was Chuck. Oh, I know where it is. Let me just get this, because this is really a good... Think about this for a second. This is the wrench, and with a pipe on it, and I've had to use it with this much leverage. I've had to use it to get stuff off. So I don't know if Glenn is going to be able to make it today, but I have my little projects to work on. But having leverage, anybody that doesn't understand engineering, the longer you make this handle, the more power you have, like a bigger stroke engine. But anyway, I wanted to share that. Now, also, it's funny, I talked to Luciano this morning about this, and we had Lauren, we were working on her Ducati Monster, and he broke his aluminum Ducati wrench and had to buy the steel one. Well, I know the steel one is more, so I hope Glenn has the steel one. And just in case he doesn't, we'll make one. You really do, I understand, that Ducati nut on the back is really on a million Fig Newton powers or whatever it is. This is Fig Newton power right here. If you tighten it up with this, it's going to be tight. If you ever have a lug nut on your car that won't come off, this will get it off. Now also, now we always go down the list, because remember what we're trying to do is share information. And if all else fails, I know Glenn is going to buy one of these. An impact driver, guess what? Harbor Freight, same old thing. Same exact thing. And if this doesn't get it off, and this doesn't get it off, and the pipe doesn't get it off, buy a new motorcycle. And again, remember, we are trying to share useful, good information that'll work for most people. And a lot of people, you can learn a lot in an awful short amount of time. So whether Glenn gets that wheel off today, I don't know, but I have my little project I need to work on now. I got my priority list. The next thing is those RD carburetor springs. So this is a brand new set of RD carburetor springs from SUDCO. And SUDCO, of course, has every carburetor part for, I don't even know, 52 Edsels, I think they even have parts for. These were $3. If this doesn't do what I really expect it to do, I'm going to look for some heavier duty springs. But what's happening, when you shut the throttle, remember these things are 42 years old. That spring has been under compression 42 years. And the throttle is just like really mushy. I think this will cure the problem, but we'll find out. And they may even make heavier duty springs for racing or something, but I think these will be fine. And one of the reasons we love our RD, it's a reasonably easy bike to work on, and there's really no electronic parts that break that cost a lot of money, and they're all available because the bike is very, very popular. It's the best of all worlds. And just like the shocks, the aftermarket people make a million exhaust pipes. You can buy all kinds of accessories for the motor, high compression heads, bigger carburetors. It's endless. It's endless, and when we actually start our Cafe Racer project, I'm looking forward to doing a lot of shopping online for custom parts. But for right now, it's basically a stock motorcycle. It's not a hot rod. It doesn't have any really, other than being the exhaust pipes, it doesn't have big carburetors, doesn't have real high compression heads or anything. And we've already fried it once, chasing Joe Roselli around going to a two-stroke meet. And luckily we got rescued. And from that, we learned richen up the carburetors. And today, summer's coming. We want to put them back in summer mode. Now, I know a lot of my friends have never owned a two-stroke. Maybe some of them have never even ridden one, but this is a 42-year-old motorcycle. One of the reasons I like this, it brings back a lot of memories of my wayward youth. It's so simple to work on some of the things. The problem is, with a two-stroke, as you make it leaner and leaner and leaner, you run the mixture leaner, it makes more and more power. And then you go one step more and you burn a hole in the piston. I've already done that. So we don't need to do that today. So what I do in the winter, as I do ride this bike in the winter, boy, and this is, as I say that, I gotta get, this is real, there we go. When I ride in the winter, I want to have the needle raised up one notch. I want it running extra rich, because in the winter, the bikes really run great. Air-cooled bikes run great in the winter. They run so good, sometimes they fry, in fact. And that's what happened once already. We don't want to have that happen again. So I can kill two birds with one stone. These are the stock carburetors that come with the bike when you buy it. 42 years ago. It's relatively easy to pull this apart. Now you can see what happens. This comes out in one piece. There's a little dot on the slide, and that's for lining up your idle to balance the carbs. You do that with the top adjustment. But what happens is now this comes apart relatively easy. I just need to pull up the spring. Notice there's no special tools. Spring comes right out. Cap comes right off. So you basically have these three items. Now the needle will have notches in it where I can raise or lower this needle in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. That'll make the mixture richer. I can also put different needles in. I do have different richer needles even for this. But the easiest thing right now, because the bike was running great during the cold days that we rode it, Oh, I'm just gonna lower this back down one notch because we're getting into where it's the summer months. While I have it apart, I'll repolish the caps and I'll put in the newer springs. So that should be a nice little maintenance thing. And I don't think there's going to be time to ride today because Karen does have a lot of, going to be going back and forth at these errands today. Yeah, sometimes I wish my R1 starter was as easy to work on as this bike. You can see there's two little screws in there. When they get loosened up, this top piece comes off, the needle comes right out, and then you can reset the needle clip. Now, I'm not sure our macro lens is going to do what I want, but you can see, and hopefully see, let me just see if I can get this in position. There are 5 notches, and of course, raising the needle is going to make it run richer. Lowering the needle, make it run leaner. For right now, summer's coming, we want to lean it out by 1 notch. Now putting this back together, 2 screws, the clip, this goes right back together, and it's always nice to me that you have such full adjustment. Now if we were at a track day, you could do this in between rounds. You can make these adjustments relatively quickly and easily. Now what makes this even easier is these 2 little parts, they have a little snap on the bottom. They snap together when you put that in, and of course the needle has to go in first, and it has a little, well, as I popped it out, they snap in. I need tinier fingers. It just makes, and it also makes it easy if you have a magnetic screwdriver. That makes it even easier. And with the parts all back in, the screws tightened, it's pretty self-explanatory. We got to put the spring in. Now it's a little bit tricky when you try to compress the spring. Not impossible, of course, but you've got to kind of have little delicate hands to get that spring totally compressed down in there, and then feed the cable in with your other hand. Once you do it a few times, you pick up the little technique right away. And anytime I have something apart, I try to polish it up a little bit or clean it up. I could run down to the polishing wheel, just run this on there for 30 seconds. It'll look a whole lot nicer. I'd say that was a minute well spent. All in the details. Now it's just the question of, and of course, never lose there's a little rubber seal in there. Don't want to lose that while we're busy doing this. Putting this back together should be relatively straightforward. Now, as I said, this can be a little bit tricky. This cable all the way out. And it gets challenging because this compressing the spring isn't as easy as it looks. Sometimes it goes pretty quick, and sometimes you're here for 5 minutes trying to do it. That spring wants to jump out. I hold it with my thumb. Not a big deal to do that. Cable goes right in. Spring, of course, goes right in. Now, I want to make sure that the slide is going in the right way. Now once it's down in there, I have to turn this around till I catch, and it can be a little bit of a trick to get that to line up. Oh, it looks okay. Now once that little dot lines up, this is to adjust the throttle cable, which we may or may not have to do here. Hopefully not have to do it. This just gets screwed down hand tight, maybe a little bit more. And all that's left now is do exactly the same thing on the other side. Now I've got that nice released. Back to like when the bike was brand new. Well, not exactly brand new. Well, with this side done now, oh, that looks so good. Always like doing little things like this. And I got a little time left here before I got to run for the next errand. I'm going to throw a little coat of flitz on this if I can. Just get it ready for another 6 months of riding in the park. Oh man. And by the way, these are the same things that went on the back of the FZR. All available from Amazon, of course. And I love the way the shocks look. Luciano, thank you for the shocks. You can't make this up. This is the phone ringing. Hello? Okay, I'll be right there. Okay, you gonna walk home? Okay, perfect. I'm in the garage. This is amazing. Karen is gonna walk home today. I'll have extra time to polish motorcycles. So what? Let's polish. The point I want to make is, even on a day like today, loads of errands, things to do, places to go, digging an oil well, aliens coming down from outer space. We still got the RD ready. And it is ready. It's pretty exciting. When it's ready, I'm always ready. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's all set to go. Thanks for watching.